Hello, my name is Aaron Griffith. I'm the National Sales Manager for the Pro Series of product at Cub Cadet. And today I'm going to talk to you about our stand-on lineup. We started to develop the stand-on lineup, and before we even built a unit, we went out and visited with landscapers all over the country, showed them competitive products. They were already running stand-ons, and just really picked their brain. What do you like, what you don't like about what you currently use or what's currently on the market? And then we went and built one unit, one prototype unit, took that unit back out to those customers and said, hey guys, how close did we get it? Are we on, are we off? What do we need to change to make this better? Continued to work on it, continued to change it as we got more and more feedback. We ended up building 7 versions of it before we even came to market. As with anything in the Pro Series lineup, it has to go through the professional test drive. We actually did 2 waves of the professional test drive with this unit to make sure it was spot on. First off, not every operator is the same size. We have 150-pound guys, 300-pound guys. So we wanted to make it as comfortable for every operator as possible. So we have a suspension built into the back platform, but it's also adjustable for the weight of the operator. We have 3 settings, 1, 2, and 3. Our recommendation is 150 and under, 150 to 250, then 250 plus. Once again, that's a recommendation. You might like a little softer, a little firmer, but that adjustment is there, and you can do it right from the operator station. Just move it right there, and it's gonna stiffen up the springs that are on the operator platform. The next thing with a stand-on unit is raising and lowering of the deck. So now you're doing that with your hand, not with your foot like you would on a sit-down unit. 60-inch deck can weigh 300 to 400 pounds. That's a lot of weight to be raising and lowering all day. So the engineers really worked hard on getting the geometry and the linkages proper on our unit to make it the easiest deck to raise and lower. You can literally drop it with that, dropping that pin in, goes down to the pin that you set your height at, and look at this. I can raise and lower the 60-inch deck with one finger. It's very easy to operate, very easy to raise up and down, and much more comfortable. So what we have here is an adjustment for this pad. Not every operator is the same height, or with these thumb screws, you loosen those, and you can simply raise the pad or lower the pad up to 2 inches to make the operator as comfortable as possible. And then that pad also removes for easy access. And then we also built in a nice feature with our PTO switch to make it easier to get on and off of the machine. Most units, you have to take the PTO switch off and then pull the parking brake. With our units, we have it built into the PTO switch. You don't have to do that. So if you need to get off of our unit, you simply pull the parking brake, step off of the unit, the PTO will disengage, engine will continue to run, so the machine is still running. Then when you get back on the unit, you simply release the park brake and then recycle the PTO switch, and you're ready to go mow again. Stand-ons are very compact units, so it's a key feature that the landscapers wanted us to be able to build into this unit is making this machine as easy to work on and to maintain as possible. So we already took this back cover off the pad where we talked about the adjustments. But there's one other feature before I drop this down that I want to mention, and there is actually a mesh pocket built into the pad that your cell phone will nicely slide into and keep it protected so it's not going to bounce out of your pocket. And we actually have a punch out on the side of the deck lift where you can add a 12-volt accessory outlet to it as well. So we have the back plate off. That's going to allow you access to the hydro tank and then to the hydro filter here as well, and any of the switches or cables and controls underneath that tower. Then this back plate also comes off with thumb screws by simply loosening these. Set them to the side, pull the back plate off, and this is going to give you access down here to your hydro belt, blow anything off. You can release your hydro pumps here as well, and that gives you nice, easy access to the entire back of the machine. This fender cover here is where the battery is located. It's very easy to get on and off by removing these screws with no tool. And you'll notice as I'm taking this off, 2 other really nice features that are built into this cover. Cup holder, as well as this mesh elastic piece here. And that way, if you've got small pieces of trash, paper, things like that, you can easily shove those in here or through the top, and it'll keep them from blowing off as you're mowing the lawn. And then once you remove that cover, you'll see that the battery, nice, easy access if you do need to jump it or replace it. It's very easy to get to, very easy to remove the hardware to take the battery loose. This front plate here is also removable to give you access to the front part of the deck. There is a rubber latch built into this plate that hooks into this hook that's on the frame. It's going to give you access if you need to replace any belts. You've got your 1/2-inch breakaway on the idler here to blow the unit out, to keep the debris from building up on the deck. Very easy access to get that off. And then also, just like our Pro Z series has, all of our spindle covers are toolless removable as well. So we simply loosen these thumb screws and this plate will come off, so you have easy access to your spindle pulleys, the rest of your deck belt, to have ease of maintenance there. And one other additional thing we have on the ease of maintenance side as we're looking at the deck is this machine has no grease fittings. No grease fittings on the spindle, no grease fittings on the idlers, no grease fittings on the front wheel. One other big key that the landscapers keyed in on to have this machine as easy to maintain as possible. So the two most important parts of a stand-on are the frame and then of course the deck, since that's what you buy a lawnmower for. So when you look at the frame on our unit, it's a very thick, very heavy, rectangular tubed frame that's a fully welded frame all the way from front to back. And then the front frame horn is wider depending on the deck size, whether it's the 36, the 48, the 54, 60-inch cut. They're all different widths to give it the most traction. And then as you're running through this frame, you'll notice a much heavier plate that's welded in as a support plate for where we hang the deck. We also have that same type of support plate on the back of the frame where the wheel motors are hung as well to make sure that the durability is there where those heavy parts are hanging to this machine. We talked about the front frame width, and then when you go to the back of the machine, we also have different widths. So the 48-inch uses a 10.5-inch wide tire, 24 inches tall. Then the 54 and 60 run a 24-inch tall tire, 12 inches wide to get that extra width. And then the 60 actually runs a spacer off the side of the hub to give it more width there to make sure that the machine holds a hill as good as possible. Then, as you've heard me say before, the most important part of a lawnmower is the deck. So the deck construction here is triple plated, just like all of the Pro Series deck is done. So our shell here is a 10-gauge shell, and then there's 7-gauge rings on the top and the bottom of the deck at each spindle housing, making this deck over 1/2 inch thick at the spindle housing. We run a 1/4 inch side skirt on the trim and discharge side, and then that same 1/4 inch rolled edge that we have on the Pro Series deck, which is this piece of steel reinforcement plate right here that wraps underneath that deck. The spindle in the 48, 54, and 60-inch deck is the same as the Pro Z spindle. So it is 8 inches wide, 6-bolt design, 1 3/8 shaft, double roller axial bearing. Also, as you're looking at this deck, all of your linkages are 3/8 of an inch thick, very heavy. We also have the same stabilizer bar across the back of the deck to keep the deck sturdy. When you're looking at it going side to side, you're not going to get a lot of movement there. Thank you so much for your time today learning more about our products.